Now that we have finished creating this texture layer by using the filters, we're going to create one more layer and we're going to call it Sparkle. And on this layer, we're going to use some brush settings to make it look like there is some glitter that is sprinkled around this. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to choose our brush tool, and we're going to need to open our brush panel. And if you don't see your brush panel, remember that you can find it under your window menu. So the first thing I want you to do is we're going to click up here where it says brush tip shape. We need to use a hard round brush. Notice that when I hover over it, it tells me that it's a hard round brush. Okay. I can come down here and change the size of it to 10 pixels. I can make sure the hardness is set at 100, and then I'm going to set the spacing at 322%. Notice what it does. It spreads it out. Okay. Now, there are some settings that we need to check and make adjustments to. The first one is going to be shape dynamics. We want to change the size jitter to 100%. Minimum diameter is 0. Angle jitter is 100. Roundness jitter is 62. And minimum roundness is 25. Then we're going to go to scattering. And we're going to set up here at the top the scatter to 431%. The count is 1 and the count jitter is 0. Then we're going to go to color dynamics. And up here at the top, we're changing our foreground background jitter to 100%. Our hue jitter should be at 0. Saturation, 0. Brightness, 50. And purity, 0. And then we're going to leave smoothing checked. If you don't already have it checked, check it. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we need to create a work path. Okay? Now, remember on the Mac, you have Control and Command, and they do different things. Also know that over here on the Layers panel, depending on where you click on the layer, you get a different menu. So I'm going to hold down the Control key, and I'm going to click right here where it says Glitter Copy. And I'm going to choose Create Work Path. If you get a different menu than this, you either held down the Command key or you clicked in the wrong spot. Notice when I did that, I get this little white outline around it. That's the path that we're going to work on. Okay? Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my foreground and background colors. My foreground should be D3C614. And my background should be FFFF08. And click OK. All right, now we're going to need to use our Direct Selection tool, which is a new tool. If you look down just below the Type tool, notice that you have two arrows here, Path Selection and Direct Selection. We need the Direct Selection tool. You're going to want to make sure that you are now on your Sparkle layer. And if we Control-click on the path, we can choose Stroke Path. This is asking what tool we want to use. We want the brush tool. Make sure that Simulate Pressure is unchecked and click OK. At this point, you get glitter, or I shouldn't say glitter, spattering, sparkle, whatever, that is around your text. Okay? To make it match the color of the text better, we're going to change the blend mode, the layer blend mode, to linear light. Okay, and that softens it up a bit. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add more shadow to the text. We're going to do it on this very bottom text layer, the one that has nothing on it. We are going to add a layer style. It's going to be a drop shadow. And we want to uncheck use global light, and we want to change the angle of it to -20. We're going to set the distance at 8. The spread stays 0, and the size goes to 10. And then you can click OK. And then what we're going to do is here in our layers panel, notice that you have this fill. I'm going to change this fill to 0% so that only the shadow is visible and not the actual text. So if I were to hide the layers above it, notice all that is there is the shadow behind it. Okay, so I'm going to turn all of that back on. And at this point, we want to save this. And remember, you need to save it into your schools folder. And the title of this should be your period number underscore your last name underscore glitter. Save it as a Photoshop file first so that you have all of the layers editable. And then we can go to File, Save As, and we can save it as a JPEG so that you have one to update your Google site with. When you open the JPEG in preview, this is what it looks like. Notice that the kind of outline is not there in the preview, okay? So I just wanted to show you that so that you would see that you were not making a mistake. Remember that the JPEG is the one that you upload to your Google site.